Coming up on News 10 at 11, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in some parts of the capital region and western New England.
Weather, the Easter weekend's coming to a close. I'll have the back-to-work forecast.
A former FBI big says there's a strong case to prove that Theodore Kaczynski is the Unabomber. News 10 next.
This is News 10 at 11.
Nature drops an Easter surprise on many parts of our region. Now the big question, where's spring? Good evening, everyone. I'm Tracy Egan. Don't put away those snow shovels just yet. Many of you may have a blanket of snow already, and there could be more by the time you wake up in the morning. The snow has been falling since early today in portions of the Mohawk Valley and western New England. We headed over to Berkshire County tonight, an area hammered by tons of snow this winter. As you can expect, many residents are saying enough is enough.
Okay, what do you think about the snow on Easter?
Oh, well, it sure was a surprise. We were visiting up in Williamstown, and we're heading to Connecticut, and got an earlier start than we planned on.
It's crazy. It's kind of nice, kind of pretty, kind of strange.
I think this is insane. I'm ready for summer here.
I'd settle for spring. Well, we've been calling the snow an Easter surprise, but meteorologist Greg Playford was right on about where the snow would fall. Let's check in with Greg to find out what's in store for us next.
Thank you, Tracy. I'd like to say we have a nice springtime warm-up coming our way in the next couple of days, but that's not the case. As a matter of fact, there's another storm forecasted to develop along the southeastern Atlantic coastal states during the day on Tuesday and then head up towards the coast. We'll deal with that as we get to it. Elevation snow, that's what's hitting us tonight. Higher elevations above 1,500 feet. They're getting the accumulating snow. It's on the grassy surfaces and on the hillsides. The roadways are still relatively warm, so much of the snow is melting. If there are any school delays or school closing, we will, of course, update you on that. Higher elevations in the hill towns are the areas of the concern, the Helderbergs, the Catskills, the southern and southeastern Adirondacks, and, of course, the Berkshires. And it's going to continue to snow all night long there. Snow when you wake up in the morning hours, generally light around the Capital District, 32. Sunrise tomorrow, 6:25 by the noontime hour, and continuing into the afternoon, intermittent light snow may mix with rain at times as temperatures get above freezing, but not getting near 40 degrees, though. 37, 38 should touch it off. And then sunset tomorrow at 7:30. I'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we'll wrap it up. Tracy?
All right, and make sure you tune into News 10 in the morning with Robin Schwartz and meteorologist John Giraldi for the latest on the snow and a complete rundown of any school closings. A former top official of the FBI believes there's a strong case to prove that Theodore Kaczynski is the Unabomber. Oliver Revelle says the bomb-making materials that agents discovered in the former Berkeley professor's Montana cabin, as well as a typewriter that could have typed the Unabomber's manifesto, may clinch the case for investigators. They're also looking into where and when Kaczynski traveled. Law enforcement officials want to know when Ted Kaczynski left his mountain property to travel. It's not easy because when he traveled out of nearby Helena, he took the bus and paid cash for his tickets. This woman, Stacy Fredrickson, says she saw Kaczynski on some 15 bus trips dating back to 1991, trips that went either south toward Salt Lake City or west to Spokane, Washington.
He looked like he's the person that would travel on a bus. Come on, but there's a lot of people that look pretty scummy on buses sometimes.
While his bus traveling, cash-paying ways make Kaczynski tough to track, his writing style may prove more conclusive. For example, to his mother, he wrote several years ago, "You can't eat your cake and have it too," a twist on a common phrase. In the manifesto, the Unabomber wrote, "As for the negative consequences of eliminating industrial society, well, you can't eat your cake and have it too." A federal official is quoted in a California newspaper today as saying that David Kaczynski of Schenectady saved lives by contacting the FBI about his brother. The paper reports that Kaczynski tried in vain to get prosecutors to agree not to seek the death penalty against his brother. Tomorrow, David Kaczynski will issue a statement to the public through the Washington, D.C. attorney who contacted the FBI for him. Oklahoma City bombing suspect Timothy McVeigh says he's innocent and has never had his hand on a bomb. McVeigh, who spoke in a jailhouse interview with Time magazine, says he wants to testify at his own trial. He says he was falsely labeled as a loner and a gun freak. McVeigh says that 90% of the case against him is based on what he calls non-verifiable leaks, but he did not elaborate. One of the lawmakers trying to negotiate an end to the standoff with the free men in Montana says he's not optimistic about a quick resolution. Montana State Representative Joe Colici describes the situation as deep and complicated. He says only minor progress has been made. It has been 2 weeks since the standoff between the anti-government group and federal agents began. Police in Connecticut now say 3 people were killed in the crash of a plane that took off from Columbia County Airport. The single-engine Cessna went down in a swampy area near the Barkhamsted Reservoir Saturday night. Firefighters had to cut down trees and carry planks into the woods to build a bridge just to get to the plane and bring bodies out. The plane apparently sent out emergency signals before crashing, but there is no word on what caused the accident. The names of the victims are not being released. The airport maintenance chief whose navigation system was guiding Commerce Secretary Ron Brown's plane when it crashed in Croatia has committed suicide. Officials say they are not connecting Wednesday's deadly crash, though, to the suicide. 3 people from our area were also killed in that crash. In related news, the National Transportation Safety Board says they found some plane instruments that might help them determine what happened. Millions of Christians around the world celebrated Easter today. The largest service, the one attended by more than 100,000 worshipers in Vatican City. Pope John Paul II asked the world to pray for the peacemakers in Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Middle East, and Northern Ireland.
In the joy of Jesus Christ, the risen Lord and Savior of the world.
In Jerusalem, recent terror bombings kept away some tourists from the Easter services at the Holy Sepulchre Church. And in the capital region, brisk weather may have kept the number of Easter bonnets out at the churches to a minimum today, but also the number of winter coats to a maximum. But church services were universally well attended. People are wondering tonight whether the mother who abandoned a newborn baby behind a church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania last night was hoping that someone would find and rescue the baby. But by the time church neighbors discovered the baby boy wrapped in a pink towel, he was dead due to exposure. Police are now searching for the baby's mother. A bizarre case of child abuse out of Atlanta tonight. Police say the mother of a 4-year-old boy is undergoing a psychiatric evaluation after cutting her child and sucking his blood. The child's screams brought rescuers to his hotel room. He had been tied with phone cords to the bed, allegedly by his mother. Police found letters to Satan and God tucked inside a Bible in that room. 2 weeks after Princess Diana was shaken up in a car accident, her mother's driving habits could get her in trouble with the law. Reports say Diana's mother, Frances Shand Kidd, faces drunk driving charges after refusing to take a blood test. Charges will depend on the result of a blood test. A spokeswoman says Di's keeping mum about her mum's predicament. Controversy is not erupting on a Caribbean island, but a volcano just might. More than 4,000 residents of the British colony of Montserrat remain evacuated from their homes because a volcano threatens the south side of their island. Scientists say they are very concerned about the level of activity of the volcano and say it looks as though it could erupt. Hot ash has been spewing from the site since last week. Coming up on News 10, a robbery lands a local businessman in the hospital, plus some encouraging news about the people who protect us.
Reporting to you, Tracy Egan, meteorologist Greg Playford, John Spadafora on sports. Stay with us as News 10 at 11 continues.
Hi everyone, this is Robin Schwartz. As you take a look at tonight's lottery numbers, remember to join me for News 10 in the morning. Tomorrow and every weekday morning starting at 6.
A rash of robberies in Schenectady has left one well-known business owner in serious condition after a heist turned violent. The Mount Pleasant business owner is the father of a local judge who was one of the greatest basketball players ever to come out of the capital region. Adriana Rodriguez reports to you.
78-year-old Harry Kramer is recovering from his wounds. Yesterday, he was robbed at gunpoint at the Crane Street shop he has owned for 45 years, Kramer Jewelers. Kramer is the father of the county surrogate court judge Barry Kramer, a former basketball star with the Knicks and the Warriors. Despite the fact that Kramer did not resist, the robbers beat him, they put a gun to his head and threatened to kill him. The thugs also tied Kramer up and hit him in the face. He is being treated for a fracture in his face. The bandits made off with Kramer's 55-year-old wedding ring, his watch, and 2 trays of diamonds and gold. Kramer's wife or son did not want to speak on camera, but they said Harry Kramer is pretty shaken up. And Mayor Kaczynski says he wants to make an example out of the two thieves when they are nabbed.
I want to see these people brought to justice, and I don't want to see any plea bargaining. I want whatever punishment that can be doled out. I want the maximum punishment.
The same mask-wearing bandits are suspected of two other robberies Friday night at Maria's Pizza on Union Street and Original Pizza in Mount Pleasant. And recent crime in Mount Pleasant has been even worse. A couple of weeks ago, a Crane Street man was shot to death in his porch, apparently drug-related. And the body of a murdered woman was found on Lansing Street. Despite all that, Mayor Kaczynski says the neighborhood isn't lost.
We've definitely got problems, but they're not problems that are insurmountable. If we don't address them, yeah, it will just continue to escalate.
Kaczynski has set up a task force to address the problems, and he says more police are patrolling the area. But Kaczynski says it will take the help of the community to save the neighborhood. Adriana Rodriguez, News 10, reporting to you.
And Kramer's wife says the shop will stay closed until Kramer gets back on his feet. Tomorrow brings a public hearing in Schenectady to see how federal grant money will be spent. Mayor Kaczynski has come up with his own plan on how to divide the community development block grants. One program to see major cuts will be the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program for Kids, also known as DARE.
We're basically trimming everything. To go ahead and say that the DARE program's going to be eliminated, no, that's not going to happen.
Kaczynski says he has to get creative with funding, and all programs face cuts because of less federal money this year. Students at Shenandoah schools will no doubt be wishing some of the time they are spending there would be cut. Starting tomorrow, the day will be lengthened by 40 minutes at the end of the day. This is to make up for one extra snow day they took this year. That will last for 9 school days only, but students are angry and some are threatening a walkout. Yet School Superintendent Mr. Yagelski tells News 10 he expects no problems tomorrow. A robber having an apparent nick fit is behind bars tonight without his smokes. Police say Jeff Williams of 2nd Street in Albany was arrested last night after he broke into a Stewart shop in Guilderland and stole 141 packs of cigarettes. Police caught Williams riding away from the scene on his bicycle. He's being held without bail at the Albany County Jail. An Albany police officer is out of the hospital tonight after crashing his police car. Officer Stephen Riley was responding to a call when another car hit his at the intersection of Lawn Avenue and Van Rensselaer last night. Riley's car spun out of control and right into a light pole. Police are still investigating that crash. A Justice Department report says things are looking up for the nation's police officers. The report says officers are better educated, armed, and protected than ever before. The survey also finds an increase in minority and female officers joining the police force. When we return on News 10, Greg Playford will be back with more on the spring snow, plus getting creative with the Easter bonnet.
Now, Greg Playford and News 10 Doppler weather.
Nature's fertilizer, so I cheer that aspect of the snow. I'm not looking forward to driving home in it once again.
Well, the roads, Tracy, are still very warm, so the snow's not accumulating on the roads. And if this were a little bit later in the springtime and we had some new leaves on the trees, we'd have a lot of damage because the snow is that real heavy, slushy, kind of hurt your back when you lift up a shovelful of it. But it's going to continue snowing the remainder of the night and a little bit during the day tomorrow. Wet snow, light snow at the airport at 11 o'clock on this Sunday evening. 33 degrees right now. The relative humidity almost saturated, as you would expect, 96%. A steady barometer, a light north wind. 1/10 of an inch of liquid precipitation at the Albany County Airport, and that fell with about 1/2 inch of snow. 42 and 35, the high and low for the date. Record high and low of 87 and 13. Temperatures are below freezing throughout much of central and western New York at 11 o'clock, 30 and 31 at Utica and Syracuse, respectively. Rochester, 29, 28 in the Buffalo area. And a little bit above freezing in eastern New York. Glens Falls, 32, 33 at the airport at Albany. Also in lower Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie, the warm spot, 37. At the Big Apple, on the national satellite map, frontal zone coming in from the northern plains to the middle part of the country, hooking up with another area of low pressure, and this low pressure system will play a role in our weather later on in the middle part of the week as it scoots to the mid-Atlantic coast and then slowly moves up to the north and east. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll deal with that in a couple of days. But for now, we have a spinning area of low pressure just off to the south and east of Cape Cod. A lot of precipitation, a lot of moisture with it, all of it now falling in the form of snow and more moisture back in the Mississippi Valley. Let's take a look at Doppler radar, and it does show you that there is a lot of precipitation with the storm system. And as you can see, it's starting to spin back into portions of eastern New York and over into the eastern sections of the Adirondacks. Heavy snow falling in portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, much of central and western Massachusetts, and especially in the higher elevations. We'll zoom in a little bit closer, and the whole screen turns basically green. Just some breaks in the precipitation over in Herkimer County, but much of the area picking up some light snow right now, and it's heavy, wet snow. Let's go back to the graphics, and we'll show you what it's going to look like. In the lower elevations, expect 1 to 3 inches. It's not accumulating too much on the roadways. The grassy surfaces are picking up. But as soon as you get above 1,500 feet in elevation, that's where we're picking up the brunt of the snowfall. 4 to 8 inches in the Berkshires, 6 to 10 portions of central Vermont and over into New Hampshire. The Adirondacks will get a bit, and certainly the Catskills will also get their share. Here's the forecast for the remainder of tonight. Look for wet snow, accumulating 1 to 3 locally, 3 to 6 in the hill towns. Overnight lows near 32. For tomorrow, light snow continues, may mix with some rain at times, 34 to 38. For tomorrow night, light snow tapering to flurries, 28 to 32. And for the day on Tuesday, continued cloudy, a flurry or a sprinkle, 35 to 40. Southern Vermont, the Berkshires tonight, heavy wet snow, over 6 inches of accumulation, overnight lows near 32. For the day tomorrow, cloudy, damp, more snow likely, highs only in the mid to upper 30s. Here's your long-range outlook with temperatures below normal for much of the upcoming week, possible for another storm or another area of precipitation coming in on Wednesday, the end of the week, maybe 50 degrees.
And you did say damp snow.
Heavy, wet, damp.
Some of us would call it something else.
I'll leave that to
Greg.
you. Okay.
All right. An invitation to all of you in the Troy area to come out and tell us what you think about News 10 and television in general. The next News 10 town meeting will be this Wednesday at 7:30 at the Lansingburg High School in North Troy. Everyone is welcome to attend. We would like you to tell us about problems and the good things going on in your community, things that you would like us to know about. News 10's Jim Brennan, Angela Hampton, Dan Murphy, Steve Caparizzo, and TV 10 management will be at that meeting to hear what you have to say, and we hope that you can make it. Ahead here in sports, the Yankees try to do something they don't do very often, win in Texas. And the Bulls were looking for a little magic in Orlando. John Spadafora is next.
Next, John Spadafora with News 10 Sports at 11.
Sometimes personal problems can affect a player, so a lot of people were wondering whether Shaquille O'Neal would even show up tonight.
It was a question mark right up to game time. He kind of raced in from his limo. His grandmother died, and the funeral was yesterday. Did play, wasn't much of a factor, got in around the second quarter. The Chicago Bulls are closing in on an NBA record 70-win season. They need to go 5-4 in their last 9 games to get it done. Win number 66 wouldn't be easy. Chicago needed to go into Orlando and beat the Magic with Shaq there. Picking up third quarter, Tony Kukoc buries 3 of his 20 points. Bulls up 12. The Magic would rally for the tie. Horace Grant hits the turnaround jumper, 86 all. But Mr. Clutch, Michael Jordan, nails the jumper to untie it. 27 for Michael. Chicago takes it 90-86. The Boston Celtics played spoiler, beating the Detroit Pistons at the Fleet Center. Allen Houston led Detroit with 26 points, but it wasn't enough. This is called going strong to the hole. Todd Day with a jam and foul. He went for 16 points. Boston wins it 98-97. NBA board, the Lakers beat San Antonio. Phoenix 20 better than Vancouver. Denver hands Houston their 3rd straight loss. And Utah no trouble with Sacramento. Not much reason to think the New York Yankees would have any success against the Rangers this weekend. Coming into the day, the Yankees had lost 29 of their last 36 games in Texas. New York and Texas squared off in a double dip this afternoon. Dwight Gooden made his Yankee debut in Game 1. It wasn't a successful one. Bottom 5, Mickey Tettleton says, "See ya," a 3-run homer. Gooden gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. Texas takes it 7-2 in the nightcap. Top 1, Wade Boggs trying to score all the way from first base. And he is going to get gunned down. David Cohn was cruising. He allowed only 1 run in 7 innings of work. Gets the strikeout looking there. Tied at 1 now. Bottom of the 8th, Steve Howen, and he would blow it. Wayne Newsom singles in the go-ahead run. The Yankee bullpen allows 2 more runs to score. New York gets swept 4-1. The Boston Red Sox won their first game of the season. Boston won in Kansas City. Top 2 Mike Stanley plates Will Cordero with his line single, 1-0 Boston. Still in the second, Lennon can't handle this. Tim Naring pop fly, a run scores, 2-0 Sox. Jose Canseco puts on the finishing touches in the third, a solo shot to center. Boston breaks through with a 3-1 win. AL board, Seattle beat Milwaukee, Cleveland all over Toronto. Baltimore doubled Minnesota, California nipped Chicago, and Oakland edged Detroit 7-6. A couple of rainouts in the National League. The New York Mets game with Pittsburgh was called off, as was the Cincinnati-Philadelphia contest. A beautiful day in Atlanta. The Braves made it even nicer for their fans, spanking the St. Louis Cardinals. Atlanta played long ball this afternoon in the first. Chipper Jones goes yard, a 2-run dinger, 2-0 Braves. Bottom 2, Marquise Grissom with a big blast. This one a grand salami. Good night. Atlanta cruises to a 13-3 win. NL board, San Francisco all over Florida. The Dodgers get by, or lose rather, to Chicago and San Diego. 17-2 winners over Houston. With only a handful of games remaining in the NHL's regular season, every contest is critical for those teams fighting to make the playoffs. For New Jersey, their game with the Rangers was basically a must-win, and win they did. Dave Andreychuk breaks a scoreless tie in the first period with a slap shot. That's his 1,000th career point. The Devils take a 3-0 lead when John McClain beats Mike Richter. The Rangers would get back into it. Doug Lister scores in the second period. New York got within a goal, but no closer. New Jersey takes it 4-2. The Boston Bruins picked up a huge win in Philadelphia. The Bees moved into a 5th-place tie in the East. First period, Pat Falloon scores a power play goal that tied the game at 1. Second period, Dave Reed skates in and gets the shorthanded goal for the Bruins. 2-1 Bees, they go on to a 4-2 win. NHL board, both Detroit and Colorado win by 4-1 scores. To golf, the seniors played the Tradition, their first major of the season. Some major league names atop the leaderboard. Hale Irwin took a 1-stroke lead over Jack Nicklaus into today's final round. The Golden Bear on 12. He chips in for eagle to tie Irwin. On 17, Irwin makes a tough putt for birdie. He finished at 13 under par, but Jack too strong on 18. Another birdie. Jack Nicklaus wins going away. He fired a 65 to win the Tradition. Paul Stankowski wins today's PGA event, the Bell South Classic. That is all.
All right, thanks, John.
Sure.
Finally, tonight, it was a parade of unique and highly creative Easter bonnets at this year's Easter Parade in New York City. Take a look at some of these hats. They're absolutely incredible. From the big and the fancy, all kinds of people brought out all kinds of hats, a lot of them obviously homemade. People were looking on in amazement. Check out this hat, which was one big extravaganza, or this guy with a recliner on his head. There is even stuff that this bonnet wearer left off her hat.
And I was going to put a waterfall on it, and I couldn't figure out how to make the waterfall fall. But now that it's raining, it would have happened anyway.
You see, the head cover of choice proved to be the umbrella as rain fell on the parade today. That's our news. Thanks for joining us. See you next week. Bye.